Identifying.
The king of cakes. Chopper for the win.
G'day guys, welcome back to Cakes by Chopper. Today we have Mr. Potato Head for you, and this was a very special request from my mate MsDessertJunkie, otherwise known as Loz, and she was in Sydney to help me out with this cake. So first you're going to start by printing off the template that's available on Cakes by Chopper's Facebook page. You cut out just the shape of his body, ignoring his hands and feet. Place it on your cake, which is the same size as an A4 piece of paper, and then you're going to cut out two body shapes to stack it so it's too high, and then taper down the edges so it gives you that round shape. And you might notice that this is also the shape of Nemo. And if you haven't seen that video, just click the little picture above and you can be taken straight across there. Okay, so you're going to cover that with a buttercream and then pop it in the fridge, let that set, ready for the second coat of buttercream. And you got to work quickly when you put the second coat on because the bottom layer is cold and it's going to make the top layer set a lot quicker. Now, rolling out your fleshy brown tone for the body of the potato head, then you're going to layer over the top, working quickly, go from the top down around the edges, pulling out any little creases and just spread it out at the bottom and rub it towards the cake, and you should get rid of all those folds. Taking your sculpting tool, cut away all the excess, ball it up and then smooth it off as seen in other video tutorials. You're going to cut out his eyes and his nose and get them ready to prepare for the shaping of them. I rolled a ball and then trimmed it down to the size and smoothed it off the edges with my fingers. As you can see, Loz here did the other one. And it's just a matter of trimming it down to size and smoothing the edge and you've got your eyeball. Then roll out some more of your flesh tone, cut it in half, place it over the top half of his eye to create the eyelids, and then just trim off the excess around that. And you should have a nice, neat eyeball ready to be placed on top. If it is a little bit rough around the edges, you can use the sculpting tool to even it up. To make his ears, you're going to roll a ball of pink fondant, cut a third of it off, placing a toothpick in either end and put your thumb in the middle to give it that indent. Once you've made both the ears, it's best to pop them in the freezer for 5 to 10 minutes just to set the toothpicks into the fondant, and it helps with placing them on because then they're a little bit firmer when you're sticking them into the cake. Take the nose, put it on top of some orange fondant, shape it down. Don't forget the creases for his nostrils. Then you're going to move on to his mustache, which is, I just did this by hand. You can use the template if you like. I cut this shape and then put some little lines in. And I looked at it and I was like, this is a little bit too big, so I trimmed it down a little bit more. But I got it to a point where I was happy with it. For his eyebrows, Loz just made some small jelly bean shapes and then gave it some detailing with a sculpting tool. Then it was time to make his shoes, which we just rolled up some blue fondant, made an oval, cut it in half, and then rolled out some more fondant to give it the shoe detailing. Be sure to adhere them with some water and trim off the edges and put the shoes aside just to firm up a little bit. When we put these on the cake, we had to put some toothpicks in them, so it's best to put them in before the fondant starts to set. Using your template, mark out where his nose and eyes would be, and then you can roll out some black fondant in a circle and place that on top. Then you're going to cut a strip, give it a line down the middle, and just fold it over a little bit. You want it to sort of hook like a C shape, so it gives his hat a little rim. Because you're cutting it so thin, it will stand up on its own. And then adhere that to the bottom of the hat. Then you're going to start assembling Mr. Potato Head. Using a brush with a little bit of water on it, you're going to mark out where they go and then place on all the features that you've made. Underneath his mustache, you roll a little snake of red for his lip and adhere that down with some water. Placed on his feet, then you're going to work on his arms, which is just 2 medium-sized snakes, again sticking down the arms with some water. For the hands, just make a ball and cut 3 little incisions, 2 together and then 1 a little bit further up to make 3 fingers and a thumb. And then don't forget to give him the little glove round off parts, which is just 2 little snakes at the top of the glove. Then you're going to paint on his eyes and you are done. This cake isn't as hard as it looks, it's just a little bit time consuming. I had a lot of fun making this cake with Loz. She's a massive fan of Mr. Potato Head. So thanks MsDessertJunkie. I encourage everybody to go check out what MsDessertJunkie has to offer on her channel. I hope you guys enjoyed Mr. Potato Head as much as we did making him. And if you like my cakes, please share them on Facebook, send them around to your friends, help my channel grow. Much love to you all. Thanks again, and I'll see you next week.